Hey guys, welcome back to the All-Star Boxing Podcast. If you're new to the podcast, make sure to subscribe. If you like the podcast, make sure you jab the like button. And if you want to see anyone else on the podcast, leave us a comment in the comments below. Really cool episode. We had Dan the Engine Hill from Nitro Boxing. So it was a really cool chat. He's originally from Tasmania, now he's living here in Brisbane. He fought last Wednesday on the Premier Boxing, so I had to tune in, and he had a spectacular win against TK Kim from South Korea. And when I watched his performance, I was like, I gotta get this guy on. So I messaged him, said, bro, let's do the podcast next week. He's like, I'm in. So had to make this happen, and enjoy this episode. Alright, cool, Dan. Bro, appreciate you coming in. I know, are you deep in training now?
Nah, I've got 4 weeks off before I start another camp, yeah. So
Yeah, okay.
I'll still train, but no, I won't be doing no hard sprints or anything like that. So just working on my skills and just ticking over.
Just maintenance?
Yeah, before I get back into it. Oh, not maintenance, but like something I can work on.
Yep.
And not worry about it like while I'm not in hard camp.
Yeah. It's important to have that on and off, because when you're in camp, it's hardcore.
Yeah, I just had 2 camps back to back, so didn't really have an off button between them ones, so I'm looking forward to a little bit of a rest, bro. So
Yeah. So last Wednesday on the Premier Boxing, so I had a work the next day, walked in, and the boys were like, oh, do you watch Dan Hill? You watch that fight? And I forgot about the fight. I forgot they were on. I was like, oh, damn, I forgot. So when I got home, boom, tuned back in, watched your fight. Tae Kim from South Korea. And so I tuned into that, and again, I can see why they call you the engine, non-stop, just energy, you know. I think you're going to gas out, but you never do. But I tuned into the fight, and I was like, yeah, cool, I've got to get Dan on. So, shout out to Matt Paramore for hooking this up. He's like, bro, get him on. So you're worthy of this. Like, every fighter is, but when I watched that, I was like, yeah, cool. So anyone that has never really stepped in the ring, and they look at the fighters and they glamorize it or whatever, but you must be training hardcore to be able to have an engine like that, start to finish.
Yeah, bro, my sprint training's pretty hard. I don't know, I guess I've just always had that good cardio base, whether it be from like sport back in the day or I've always been known for someone who's got like a bit of an engine. So I don't know, it just could be that natural genetics. You know, some people have good genetics in other things like muscle genetics or strength. Like I think I've just got those little bit of good genetics mixed with some hard training. So I always try and push myself a little bit extra. Like if it's one more round or 30 more seconds on the pads or blasting out on the pads, or you're doing your sprints and you just go that little bit extra hard and get in that zone. So I think that makes a difference too.
Of course. So your current record, 6-1. Yeah, 6-1.
Yeah.
So last Wednesday you just recently fought.
Yeah.
So you're having your downer now, a bit of a rest period.
Yeah.
I want to go back though. So you're originally from Tasmania.
Yeah.
Born and raised Tasmania.
Born and bred, and moved up to Sunny Coast when I was 17. I lived there for 6 years or something, and I was doing MMA. Things were going pretty good up there, and then I got a job at Nitro actually through Isaac. Isaac helped me get a job at Nitro.
Isaac was at the same MMA gym?
Yeah, Isaac trained at Integrated MMA there in Stafford.
Yeah.
And I'd drive from the Sunny Coast. I'd do a couple of nights a week down there just for some sparring because there was a lot more pros at the gym. And he also worked at Nitro at the same time. So I'd drive down and do some pads with him sometimes, like maybe on a Saturday morning or something, a bit of one-on-one pads. And then over the years, I was looking at Nitro thinking, yeah, like this is sick. Like the boys have a wicked team here, and I always thought like I'd love to be able to work here one day. And then they just had a job going, and Isaac said, talk to Blair today. Like while I was there at the gym doing pads, so finished my pad session, went out the back, and just said to Blair like, hey, I'm willing to move down from the coast if you can get me a job here. And he said, well, yeah, I'll get you a job. You can start next week.
Nice.
So I went back, spoke to my girlfriend at the time, or still my girlfriend, my fiance now.
Nice.
And I said, look, I got to go. I'm going in a week or two's time, And she was pretty upset, but I knew it was the right move, and so I ended up finding a place and moving down here, starting working Nitro, and then that's when I started boxing a little bit more.
Yep.
I was still doing MMA at the time, but
How long ago was this?
this is probably only I've been in Nitro 4 years, so I started working there 4 years ago.
Yeah.
While I was still doing MMA, so I think I had 2 MMA fights under Blair and integrated MMA. So I was working there, boxing, sparring, doing my MMA down to Stafford, and then unfortunately I got injured with my groin about 2 years in, and I couldn't do any MMA anymore. I couldn't wrestle, I couldn't grapple. So I was kind of at a crossroads, and I was like a boxing fight came up out of the blue, like against Bryce McLaughlin. This was like 10 days notice, and like I hadn't been training much, a little bit. So I jumped on it. I thought I got to get back on the horse and do something because I wasn't really doing anything.
Yep.
And took that boxing fight, got the win, and then the rest is history. Now I'm just full-time boxing, yeah.
Nice. When that injury happened and you knew it was kind of like maybe the end of the MMA path, did that affect you? Were you a bit upset? Like, did you...
Yeah, it still plays on my mind because MMA was like my dream. Like a lot of guys, boxers have their dream. Like mine was always UFC. Be the UFC champion as far as I can go in MMA. And when I sort of knew, like, oh shit, like I've missed out on 6 months training already. I'm not doing anything. I thought I got to do something. So started boxing, started enjoying it. I still do enjoy it. It's a great combat sport. And it affected me a little bit, but now I've come to terms with, do I want to go far with anything to do with combat sports? So I do. So sticking to boxing and having a good red hot crack at it while I'm still young. So
Nice.
Yeah.
So what age did you start MMA?
I started MMA when I was 15. So I actually started boxing. My first martial art was boxing, amateur boxing, down in Tassie. I did that for about a year. I had 4 amateur fights. So I went 2 wins, 2 losses. And at the same time, I was sort of doing some jiu-jitsu, a little bit of Muay Thai at the same time. And then there wasn't actually any MMA gyms down Tassie, bro. So, like, that was real far behind. So I had to sort of cross-train everywhere, do a bit of this, bit of that. And then until I moved to the Sunshine Coast when I was 17, that's when I went to an MMA gym that was solely MMA, yeah.
What was that gym called?
Integrated MMA on
Integrated.
the Sunshine Coast. And there's also one
Yep.
in Brisbane. So there was 2, yeah.
Yeah,
They're the
nice.
same, different owners, but same franchise.
Yeah, okay. That you loved it though? That was your life back then?
Yeah, I did like a normal job. I was an apprentice tiler for Wall and Floor, and I was training, working, still fighting. Yeah, I had my first amateur MMA when I was 16, turned pro when I was 19. And I had 6 MMA fights up until a few years ago. Yeah.
Yep. So while we're on the topic of your MMA, I brought up some of your highlights. So just so everyone at home can have a look what your MMA was. So this was all under the same banner?
Yeah, this was when I was this was my first fight under Blair and integrated MMA in Stafford. So I'd been doing a bit of boxing, as you can see.
Okay. So let's have a look, eh? And this is all your 6 fights put together?
I think this might be. Is this a highlight? of
Yeah,
my
this is the
Instagram?
highlights of all of it, yeah.
That's most of them.
Bit of
Yeah,
a
there's a
mash.
few. Yeah, the pro fights. Yeah.
Let's have a watch.
Yeah,
Boom,
I used to love
everything.
my elbows. Ground and pound with the elbows is one of my favourites. As you can see there, I got him straight on the beak there. That was a perler. That's when I was boxing.
Yeah, boxing in the knees. Different sport.
Yeah, it's a different sport. It's a lot more to think about, that's for sure. That's why I still do love it. I love watching it. I understand it like a lot more than some people would.
Yeah, of course.
It's such a skillful sport. But yeah, don't get me wrong, boxing's a different beast as well. So I enjoy both of them.
Well, this is
But yeah, I love the
different.
ground and pound.
Look at this.
One of my favourites, putting my kicks with my punches. That's when I won the Australian title, which was pretty big in MMA with the tournament MMA.
What was your weight division in MMA?
Lightweight, so that's 70.3 kilos. So it's only a kilo heavier than super welterweight. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So I could weigh in at 70.7 with an allowance. They'd give you a 400-gram allowance. But if it was a title fight, it'd be 70.3, yeah.
Yeah,
So
okay.
quite a big division, actually. Like there's a lot of big guys in that weight class, so I think super welterweight with boxing's been really good because it's a little bit lighter.
Yeah. And you're 66 kilos boxing?
69.7. So
yeah, okay. So, and then you were 72.
70.7.
Yeah.
So it's a kilo, yeah.
Yeah. But different sport, different code.
Yeah, completely different, bro. Like you can't box like you can in the boxing ring, because people are going to shoot in on your legs. Distance is a lot different. The gloves are a lot smaller, so like you're always a little bit further away. Like if I went back to MMA sparring now, I'd be like, holy shit! Like I think my punches would miss a little bit.
Yeah, okay.
Like because it's a lot smaller, the gloves, and just the distance management and stuff. Yeah, a lot to think about, bro. So.
I've always had people over the years say, "Oh, would you ever have a MMA fight? Would you?" But I don't know. I couldn't do it because I couldn't put the little gloves on, and I couldn't like. I don't know. I wouldn't know how to block the elbows, block the knees, all of that. And they're like, "Yeah, but you'll be so good at boxing." But I'm like, "Yeah." Put me on the ground, I wouldn't know what to do.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I guess I'll be a bit more hesitant, a bit more like scared
Yeah.
because I wouldn't want to really engage, and
It's
I'll try and box
definitely
from the
like
outside.
that, bro. Like you don't want to let your hands go because the gloves are so small.
Yeah.
But as you have a few more fights, you get to realise that, like you think you're going to get hit once and you're going to get knocked out. That's what you think because you got those little gloves on. But you can actually take a few hits just like you do in boxing. Like those gloves aren't that bad. Like I think boxing gloves could almost be worse, to be honest, because the surface area is so much bigger.
True.
So I don't know. They're both just bad. I think some of those horsehair ones I've fought in, they're not much inside them.
Yeah.
So
Would you say because you fought MMA, and in my opinion, it's a bit rougher. Like it's a bit more. You gotta be ballsy to jump in that octagon. Crossing over to boxing, and you're like, oh, this is a bit easier. Is that type of feel?
No, I disagree. Like, I think boxing's pretty rough. Like, it's obviously harder on the brain, not as hard on the body. But I still think boxing could almost be, I wouldn't say tougher, but it's definitely harder than you think from the outside. A lot of MMA guys think they can just come over.
Yeah, okay.
And like they'll do it boxing for a bit, but they don't realise you got to be doing it for a few years before you start getting good at it. Like my boxing when I started at Nitro would absolutely be terrible compared to my boxing now, like 4 years later, So, yeah, it's quite a different sport, I think. I think it could be worse and harder. So I've got a lot of respect for boxing now that I've done it.
Nice.
I've been in there a few times with some beasts, so...
Yeah, nice. So describe when you're in camp, a day in the life of camp life.
Camp life, I'll wake up, do some PTs in the morning. Start at 5:30, 6 o'clock sometimes. I'll do PTs till about 9:30. Depending on how many I got, and then we train at 10 a.m. together. So it might be sparring, might be pad work, maybe a lighter day, a bit of technique, and then I'll have my lunch, go home, have a little chill, have a nap, come back. I'll do my sprints or my weights, depending on what I got that day. Then I'll have a quick feed at the gym. Then I've got clients from about 3 till about 6 maybe, and run a few classes, depending what day. So quite a busy day, like all in all, but you still get little breaks during the day, so it's good.
And Blair structures all your training?
Yeah, Blair structures all my training, so my sparring, what days I do my sprints, like how hard we're going on the day with pads or bag work, so he'll just sort of, it's pretty much mapped out the whole camp, but just depending on how I'm feeling, he might lower the day intensity-wise, or, if I'm feeling a bit flat, we got 8 rounds of sparring, and he might pull me out at round 6 or something. If he can tell like I'm a bit flat. So
nice.
He's quite good at that.
Yeah, good. No need for the extra kind of punishment when you don't need it. When you can still be hip and fresh and get the work done. But when I understand when you're a bit sluggish and you've had a long day, long week, and just everything builds up. One day's training, like it carries over the next day, and then the next day. That's why recovery is so important, because you need to keep fresh every day, because you got to be high intensity every day, so that's why it's even hard to manage injuries, because if you're nursing an injury through all of your training, you're limited in your training.
Yeah,
so
correct.
It's so annoying.
Yeah, I agree. It can get like pretty built up if you got an injury, and you got to work around it. It sucks a lot. I've done like a few camps like that with MMA and boxing, where it's just like, you got this niggling injury, but you're not going to pull out of the fight. You've already organised the date, and the date's set in stone. I'm not one to pull out, so I'd have to be pretty injured to pull out. I'd have to have like something wrong with my knee or something horrific. But I don't usually pull out no matter what.
Why did you move to Brisbane?
Well, I guess I wasn't going that well on the coast. I was partying up a bit.
From Tasmania?
So I moved from Tassie to Sunshine Coast.
Yeah. But, like, why did you leave Tasmania? Just
Why did I leave
change?
Tassie? Yeah, just changed, bro. Like, MMA was big in Queensland, and I was set on it to do MMA.
Yeah,
so
okay.
it was part of the reason I moved was to do MMA. So
Nice.
I'd already chosen where I was going to go. Like, integrated MMA was one of the best gyms.
Nice.
I'd already planned that
And you
out.
just moved, you set your mind to it, and you're like, nah, I'm going there.
Yeah, I had a good friend of mine who lives on the coast, and I lived with him and his parents in his garage for a bit till I got on my feet. Got like a standard labouring job that, as you do when you're 17.
Yep.
I think I was landscaping or something. So I used to ride my bike up Nickland Way, it's called, in Sunny Coast to training. It was like 20-minute ride there and back. But yeah, I used to train, come home, go do my labouring job for a bit till I got my licence. So yeah, that's how it all started.
That's the life, eh? Like, when you have that dream, you do anything to make it happen.
Yeah, you do. Like, when you get a bit older, you got to remember those times when you were like walking to the bus stop or riding your bike to train, and how good it felt to, try and aim and hit your goals. And then you got to think back to that younger self and why you're doing it. Sometimes that helps me get through my training, and I think, like, what am I doing this for? And like, that young kid had a dream. So, you think about how you felt when you were that age and how you look forward now on yourself. You'd be pretty happy with
You made
yourself.
it happen.
Yeah.
Made it happen. So, describe your stable, because look, here at All Star, and I've been a part of different stables, different fighters, but it's a bit of a brotherhood, So you've got Isaac and all the boys there, but do you feel, because this is such a stressful business/career, like it's hard on the body, psychologically you're just setting yourself up for battle, or the unknowns, or the emotional roller coasters, all of that. But when you're training alongside good boys that ride the same wave, what do you feel with the crew at Nitro?
Yeah, it's good, bro. We all lift each other up. We spar each other, not all the time, but we train together, we sprint together, we hang out a little bit on the weekends, not all the time, but when you've all got a fight coming up at the same time, it makes it so much easier. Everyone's set on that time to do their sprints. Whatever it is, like 3 p.m. I'll meet you back here. We get it going together, like everyone's working hard. The guy next to you sprinting, or he's on the air bike, and you're looking over and he's in pain, but like, it just helps you get through that extra training session.
Yeah.
Someone might say like they might have a little whinge before, like, let's say we're doing pads and they're like, oh, I'm sore or whatever, and someone will just say, oh, like, stop whinging, like,
Stop whinging.
they're going to do it anyway. So, and you end up going, oh yeah, you're right, bro. Yeah. And then you just get it done, and it feels good. So it's a great team to have behind us. Like,
You've got a strong support network.
Yeah.
You're in, like you said, you're all riding the same wave. You're all in the same pain. You know.
Surround yourself with like people with the same goals, and it'll help you go a long way for sure.
Yeah. So I've got your highlights of the last fight. So last Wednesday. So we'll watch all of this. He was a southpaw. Was it the first southpaw you fought? What do you feel? Because he's from South Korea.
Second southpaw in boxing.
Yep.
I fought one in MMA, so it's been a while. I hadn't fought southpaw since Victor Nagby, so I believe that was like 2 years ago. So that was on my mind, and he's a big puncher. He knocked out that.
Yeah, his record was 9-1-1. Out of those 9 wins, 8 KOs.
Yeah.
So leading into that fight, we were like, ooh, okay, this is a bit of an edgy fight, because your record at the time was 5-1.
Yeah.
And he was 9-1 with 8 KOs. So that's a big, risky fight.
And he knocked out Isaiah Seti in his last fight, which would look pretty good. So he threw like a left hook, right hook, and just chinned him. So that was in my mind all week. I was having real bad thoughts. Like, oh, what if he knocks me out? I hate that feeling, you're playing scenarios in your head, and I'm sure you know.
Of course.
Like, he's going to knock me out, or I'm going to knock him out, or you've got this scenario in your head, and it really starts to consume you a bit. And then you take that into the fight, and, it can make you a little bit more hesitant, which I think I was a little bit. Showed him a bit too much respect, I reckon.
Okay.
But I started to open up in the end, so I'm happy with my performance, but could have been a little better, but it was still good.
Let's have a look. Let's have a watch. South Korea.
7 years separate the two, a 3 centimetre height, a 5 centimetre reach advantage to the young man they call the Engine. And here we go, and I'm expecting
slow first round, but I was hesitant.
Start from TK Kim. They got the shoot against Dan Hill.
Body shot.
Where did he come from, and what a statement. Nice from Hill over the top of the front shoulder.
It's a perfect timing before he throws his punches. He just did right there.
You've watched it back, obviously.
I watched it back about 3 times. I like to sort of have
Yep.
a look, and some things you're happy with, some you're not.
Of
But
course.
you're also happy to get the win and have a look at your handiwork, as
Yep.
you would know.
Yeah.
Good right hand there.
Shot from Dan Hill.
You're a very disciplined fighter, so hands are always up.
Yeah, tight guard because I knew he's had a bit of whack in his punch, so I was real hesitant. Which is always good to have a high guard, I reckon.
Yep, of course.
Basic high guard get you a long way in boxing.
Power hand is starting to open up for Ty Kim as he gets a little bit more comfortable in there now.
Nice.
Frank just goes a bit gun happy on that right hand, but he's setting it up with the jab too most cases as well. So he's not
He's trying to like avoid and
Yeah,
ro-
quite good head
rope-a-dope.
movement, but I ended up using my frames and catching him, so that was good.
if you're winning the fight, why change it up if you're winning the fight? Different if things weren't working for him, but they definitely
He just needs to like moments like that. I think he does, but he grabs you.
Yeah.
You gotta.
I went a
shut
bit
it down.
crazy there. I've never really did that in any of my fights, but I thought I was going to get the finish, so I pulled the trigger. But
Yeah. Okay.
I thought I better back off because
Well,
my
he's not doing
cardio was-
anything.
Yeah. I actually started to be pretty, like, my heart rate got up pretty high, and I was like, the engine might
You are the
overdo it.
engine. Overheat.
Yeah, the engine started overheating, so I had to take a step back. But I recouped.
coming back to his old self, throwing plenty of punches. He's after a treat now, but
Boom. High low jab. Right
I
to the
did
body.
hurt him to the body with a good straight right in one of the rounds. I think it was round 5. Might be this round.
He has moments where it looks like you've got over him, then he still shoots back. He's still dangerous.
Yeah, that's why I was trying to stay tight. See, that was the one you don't want to get hit with,
Yeah.
like the big loop and left like that.
Could you feel the power on your arms and that?
Yeah, I went back to the corner
Yep.
in round 2 and I said to Blair, he's got a whack on him because it hit me on the glove, and you can just,
Yeah.
you know what it's like. You can just feel those
Yeah.
guys that have that power.
Yep.
Some people just have it, don't they?
Hey, it's a natural thing. That's why he's got 8 KOs out of the 9 fights.
Yeah, he must have just had that natural power people just have.
But I think he struggled with your pressure. You never took a step back.
Yeah, I think he just couldn't get his combinations off. Yeah.
You're just on his chest the whole fight.
It must be pretty annoying to have someone like myself just.
Of course,
coming
and that's
forward.
it's draining.
Yeah.
It's draining.
Not many people are used to it. Yeah, and it was just battering him, so it was a good
Oh, there you
stoppage. I
go.
thought.
Ref
It wasn't
pushed
getting
you
much-
over.
I didn't get much better for him from there, so.
Nah.
I thought it
Like
was a good
some
stoppage.
boxers have a lucky one punch, but it wasn't gonna come.
Nah.
You know.
After round 5 or 6, I thought, oh yeah, I've got this guy. Got it in the bag. So
Yeah.
that's good.
The team's in the corner.
Yeah, it's always good to have the boys. And you're always so happy when you get a win.
Yeah.
All that hard work, all that training during camp, pays off. So I was pumped up.
Decision and a chat with Dan Hill shortly.
So in the interview, you brought up Chadwick's name.
Yeah, correct.
Louis Chadwick. So what's your? Do you have anything there?
Oh, there's
bit
no
of beef
like,
or?
no, there's no beef. I think
just
that
makes
his-
sense.
His name was getting thrown around a bit, and it makes sense. He's got a belt. Not sure. I think it's like a WBO belt or like a regional title. So
Yeah, yep.
they're good to get your hands on. So
Yep.
it just makes sense. He's 5-1. I'm 6-1. He's a super welterweight. He's got a belt.
Yep.
Same promotion. Like, let's get it on. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
nice.
He's a Brisbane boy, so I'm a Brisbane boy. We'll be able to sell some tickets and make a little bit of money. So that'll be
Nice
good.
title shot for you.
Yeah, get a belt hopefully, and then move on to bigger things from there. So
Yeah,
I
nice.
thought it was a good call out.
Yep.
Respectful as I always am, but yeah, he's a good fighter. We've done rounds. It was good rounds, so yeah, I'm looking forward to it. September 14th is the date we've been given. So
Nice. And this is a big one for you.
Yeah, this would be a big one. I don't really, I don't get I get nervous, but I don't let those big fights, take it away from me when I'm in there. So I always perform on the night. I've never had an off night, I don't think. So I'm looking forward to it.
We look like you come super fit, and I'm pretty sure, Louis would have been watching that, and you're a hard man in the office. You're a hard night, so I guess anyone that you're up against, they know the engine's coming forward.
Yeah, I think
and
they
it
know
won't
what
stop.
fight they're in for. So if I was training to fight me, I'd be training pretty hard. I don't know what I'd do to beat me. I think I'd just come out hard and try and engine against me. I think that's how I'd fight me. If I was going to fight myself, I'd just come out as hard as I could in the first few rounds and just catch me off guard. So if
you must be
Louis, that's the way to go.
You must have been a Mexican in a past life.
Yeah, me second life or me first life. Before this one.
So when you walked in, I saw that shirt. So that's a cool shirt. Dan Hill Engine.
Yeah, I
Ball.
got engine shirts. This is a few samples. This is the finished
That's
product.
nice.
So going to get a website going, and hopefully people are keen to get on there and buy some.
Yep,
Yeah,
cool.
so
Bro, plug your Instagram, plug your Facebook. Where can people find you?
Instagram Dan Hill, DAANHILL, Dan Hill, and
Yeah.
Facebook page is Dan Hill. Yeah, that's my
Nice.
athlete page. You'll find it on there.
Easy, bro. So looking forward to watching the next one and seeing where you go. So thanks for coming on, and let's do this again another time, man.
Thanks for
We'll get the
having me.
boys on.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Easy, bro. Boom.